Hello and welcome to Funny English. I'm excited to be sharing this content with you today, and I hope you find it informative and enjoyable. So sit back, relax, and let's dive in. Listen and practice. This is a popular horror story about a boy who fight for his fears because the existence of monster under his bed. Once upon a time, was convinced that there was a monster living under his bed. He would always refuse to sleep unless all of the toys and stuffed animals were lined up along the wall to create a barrier between him and the monster. His parents, believing it to be just a phase, humored him and went along with it. One night, after Timmy had fallen asleep, his parents heard strange noises coming from under the bed. They dismissed it as the house settling and went back to bed. But the noises persisted, growing louder and more frantic. Eventually, they couldn't ignore it any longer and decided to investigate. As they peered under the bed, they were horrified to see a set of glowing red eyes staring back at them. They quickly realized that the monster Timmy had been talking about was all too real. They tried to grab it, but it was too fast and slipped out of their grasp. From that night on, the monster haunted Timmy, appearing every night to torment him and make him afraid to sleep. Despite their best efforts, Timmy's parents were unable to get rid of the creature, and it continued to terrorize their son for years to come. Eventually, Timmy grew up, but he never forgot the monster under his bed. Even as an adult, he couldn't shake the feeling that it was still there, waiting for him to let his guard down so it could strike again. As an adult, Timmy tried to move on with his life and put the monster under his bed behind him. He got married, he had children of his own, and even moved to a new house. But the memories of the monster stayed with him, and he couldn't shake the feeling that it was still out there waiting for him. Years went by, and Timmy's children grew up and moved out of the house. Timmy and his wife were left alone, and he finally decided to confront his fear and go back to the house where he grew up. He wanted to see if the monster was still there, and if it was, to put an end to it once and for all. He arrived at the house, and as he stepped inside, he felt a chill run down his spine. The memories flooded back, and he could almost hear the monster's laughter echoing in his mind. He walked to his old bedroom and peered under the bed. To his surprise, he saw nothing there. He let out a sigh of relief and was about to leave when he heard a faint scratching sound coming from the closet. He slowly opened the door and saw the monster, staring back at him with its glowing red eyes. Timmy realized that the monster had been him all along, hiding in his mind, feeding on his fear and anxiety. He understood that the only way to defeat it was to face it head on and not let it control him anymore. He confronted the monster and, with the help of his wife, was able to banish it from his mind forever. Timmy finally found the peace and closure he had been looking for and he was able to move on with his life without the fear of the monster under his bed haunting him anymore. However, the story doesn't end there. Timmy's wife noticed a change in him after they left the house. He was more at ease, more relaxed, and more at peace. But she also noticed something else. He started to have nightmares of the monster under the bed. Timmy's wife knew that something still lingered, something still haunted him. She suggests that they should go and see a therapist, someone who could help him work through his fears and traumas. Timmy was hesitant at first, but he knew that he needed to do something to banish the monster from his mind for good. The therapist helped Timmy to understand that the monster under the bed was a manifestation of the trauma he had experienced as a child, and that it was something he could overcome. With the therapist's help, Timmy was able to confront his fear, understand it, and eventually let it go. He finally found peace, and the nightmare stopped. He was able to sleep soundly and without fear. Timmy was able to move on and live a happy life without the constant shadow of the monster under the bed looming over him. He had faced his fear and had come out victorious. But still, he always remembered the monster, and he knew that it was still out there, waiting for its next victim. But he also knew that it could be defeated, and that gave him some comfort. Years passed, and Timmy and his wife decided to move back to their old house, this time as a family. Timmy wanted to show his children that there was nothing to be afraid of, that the monster under the bed was just a figment of imagination. As they settled into the house, Timmy's children start to hear strange noises coming from under their beds, just like Timmy did when he was a child. They were terrified and refused to sleep unless their beds were pushed up against the wall. Timmy knew that he had to do something to put an end to this cycle. He sat his children down and told them about the monster under the bed and how he had faced it and overcame it. He explained that the monster was not real. It was just a product of their imagination and fear. He also explained that they could do the same thing. With Timmy's encouragement, his children faced their fear, and soon they were able to sleep peacefully without the fear of the monster under their bed. Timmy was able to help his children overcome their fear and break the cycle of fear. The monster under the bed was never seen again. It was just a memory. Timmy and his family were able to live a peaceful life without the constant fear of the unknown lurking under their beds. They had faced their fear and had come out victorious. But Timmy couldn't shake off the feeling that the monster was still out there, waiting for its next victim. He began to research and found out that many other people had similar experiences with a monster under their bed. He realized that the monster was not just a figment of his imagination. It was a real entity that preyed on the fears and anxieties of children and even adults. Determined to put an end to the monster's reign of terror, Timmy set out on a mission to spread awareness about the monster and to help others overcome their fear. He wrote a book about his experiences and shared it with others, and even set up a support group for people who had encountered the monster. Through his efforts, Timmy was able to help many people confront and overcome their fear of the monster under the bed. He even received letters of gratitude from parents and children who were able to sleep peacefully after reading his book and following his advice. Timmy's work had a ripple effect, and soon the monster under the bed was not as feared or talked about as it used to be. Timmy's actions helped to weaken the monster, hold on people's imagination and fears. He was able to help others and make the world a little bit safer for everyone. But Timmy knew that the monster was still out there, waiting for its next victim, and he would always be vigilant, always ready to help and support those who need it, so they can also overcome their fear and banish the monster under the bed forever.